told the world we were willing. They told our children we were paid. For 80 years, a phrase has been used to cover the screams of thousands of women who were called comfort. Was there ever any comfort at all?
History is often written by the victors, but it is remembered by the victims. For decades, a specific term was used to describe thousands of Filipino women during World War II. Comfort women. But behind this name lies a war of truths. Hi, my name is Lilis, and you are watching the Myth Breaker series.
December 8, 1941, the Japanese Imperial Army invades the Philippines. For the next 3 years until 1945, the island were under total military occupation. During this period, the term comfort women or yanfu emerged. These were women stationed at military garrisons across the country. They were placed in facilities specifically designed to provide services to Japanese soldiers to maintain morale and prevent the spread of disease. But the big question is, historians are still fighting over today. How did they get there? Were they professionals looking for a job? Or was this something else entirely?
To understand this story, you have to look at the two competing narratives. And you has to be the judge.
Some people argued that these women were nothing more than voluntary prostitutes. They were well-paid workers who chose this life for the money. In 2020, a professor from Harvard, John Mark Ramsayer, sparked a global firestorm with his article entitled Contracting for Sex in the Pacific War. He claimed that these women were rational economic actors. In simple words, they knew what they were doing. And they did it for the paycheck.
Mayor Toru Hashimoto said this system was necessary to give Japanese troops who risked their lives in battle a chance, quote, to rest.
He claims that the Japanese military ran an organized system where women could earn high wages, sometimes even more than the soldiers themselves. Because why would they be paid if they were slaves?
Standardized fees, medical checkups, operation hours. And the classified reports like the ATIS Research Report number 120, you can find actual price lists. Soldiers pay different rates based on their rank, private paid less while officers paid more. So, why would the military set up an elaborate system of fees and medical inspection for slaves? They argued that the mandatory weekly checkups for venereal disease were a form of occupational health and safety for the workers.
So does it mean during this time the Japanese were really concerned to Filipina comfort women's safety?
That is what the official records imply. The mandatory checkups and the operation hours we saw earlier paint a picture of a military that wanted to keep its workforce healthy and its soldiers disciplined. Additionally, there's this called Bahay na Pula located in San Ildefonso, Bulacan, built in 1929. Originally constructed as a family mansion by Don Ramon Ilustro, who owned haciendas in the area. However, because of its prominent red color, it became widely known as Bahay na Pula.
This is where all the transactions, operations, and businesses between the Japanese and Filipinas happened. Similar setups were seen in Eusebio's Villanueva House in Iloilo and St. Paul's Convent, which is now the St. Paul's University, Manila.
It's a very convincing story. You have the money, the famous houses, and the medical locks. But there is a problem. All of these businesses were located inside a military zone. And while the soldiers had operation hours, the women didn't have a go-home time. There was this room where the soldiers visited and a limited area for the women to walk. It makes everything confusing about this game. If they were really paid professionals, why would they be limited walking around in houses like that? And here's the catch. When Ramsayer published his paper in 2020 claiming there were contracts, the world didn't just take his word for it.
And there were not any other sources, whether secondary sources or third-party sources, that would enable one to actually examine contracts that may have existed between Korean women and any other party regarding comfort stations.
Two of his own colleagues at Harvard, historians Andrew Gordon and Carter Eckert, decided to look for their receipts. What they found was shocking. They reviewed his sources and their conclusion: Ramsayer's claim of contracts was not just a mistake, it was a total lack of evidence. They stated that they have not found any such contracts, nor has Professor Ramsayer provided any.
So what makes Ramsayer so sure that people will believe his work? And why actually would he write an article like that?
Meet Dr. Ricardo Jose. He is the most respected Filipino historian when it comes to World War II.
The person that they tended to focus on really, insofar as MacArthur was concerned, was Yamashita. And yet, actually, he did have good communications with some units, and he had good communications with Tokyo. One of the big cases against him was the rape of Manila, and Yamashita knew that. So for Yamashita to say that he did not know what was happening, that was he was not telling the truth there.
He simply stated about Tomoyuki Yamashita, one of the known leaders in the Japanese Military Commission. He said that Yamashita was denying about his involvement in Japan works, most particularly about the rape of Manila.
It was simple actually. Yamashita lied. He has a conversation with Japan, as well as he was involved in the rape of Manila.
And when Tokyo decided to surrender also, they burned everything that was very controversial.
Yamashita just had the courage to think and say that there is no evidence because they burned it. They burned all the papers. So, it is possible that the evidence about the Filipino comfort women were also burned that time. Revisionists love to talk about papers because papers cannot scream, but the lolas can. Historical evidence show that many Filipinas, often referred to as lolas, were deceived, threatened, or forcibly taken from their home, farms, or public spaces during the Japanese occupation. Some survivors were very young, including girls around 12 to 14 years old, which clearly contradicts any claim of voluntary participation. Everything about Ramsayer's claim might change your perspective when Maria Rosa and Henson, or Lola Rosa, broke her silence.
Ang ginawa, sinasaktan ako, pinagsasampal ako, dahil nagpipiglas ako.
Ayaw ko bumaba pero kinaladkad naman ako ulit. Itinulak na nila ako.
Ang edad ko noon ni 13 to 14. Hindi pa ako nare-regla noon.
Lola Rosa was born in Pasay City on December 5, 1927. When she was 14 years old, the Pacific War broke out and the Philippines were occupied by the Japanese. In February 1942, she was raped by Japanese soldiers.
Binibigkis ko yung kahoy ko. May dalawa nga po na dumating na sundalo na pinaghihilahan nila ako. Wag po. Kala ko ililigtas niya ako, yung pala siya unang nag-rape sa akin. Kasi noon wala pa akong monthly period. Ang sakit-sakit unang nangyari sa akin.
She didn't talk about economic actors or high wages like Ramsayer's paper suggests. She talked about being taken at 14 years old. She talked about the darkness of the stations and the weight of the injustice. Lola Rosa's bravery acted like a spark in a dry field. Her voice gave permission to hundreds of other Lolas to finally say, I was there too. It turns out, Bahay na Pula wasn't just a mansion the Japanese happened to use. It was a garrison. The testimonies tell us that these women didn't arrive with suitcases and contracts. They were abducted.
We are 5 younger women, they are Japanese soldiers, we raped here.
Lola Rosa Henson was taken at a checkpoint. Others, like Lola Hilaria Bustamante, were snatched from their homes while doing simple chores. They were thrown into military trucks and dropped at the garrison like supplies. They forced the women to walk for kilometers to Bahay na Pula. Once inside, they weren't given operation hours. They faced constant, numerous sexual abuses. The rooms of the mansion weren't offices. They were cells where 10, 20 or 30 soldiers would line up outside a single door every night. This wave of truth led to the creation of Lila Filipina, an organization dedicated to seeking justice, an official apology, and compensation from the Japanese government, mainly created after Lola Rosa broke her silence. It was followed by the organizations like Malaya Lolas and Flowers for Lolas, mainly advocating for full apology from Japan. This is the part the paper trail can't explain away. Why would these women, now in their 70s and 80s, would come forward and face public scrutiny if they had truly been well-paid contractors?
Once the silence was broken by Lola Rosa and the members of Lila Filipina, the truth could no longer be hidden in old military ledgers. The Filipino people decided that this pain needed a permanent place in our landscape. In December 2017, a 7-foot bronze statue was unveiled right in Rojas Boulevard. It depicted a woman in a traditional barot saya, blindfolded, grieving yet standing tall. It was a symbol of the Philippines' national memory, a statement that we will never forget that the girls was taken to the garrisons. The myth about the willingness of the woman in prostitution sparked more when the statue did not even last 5 months. On April 27, 2018, under the cover of darkness, the Department of Public Works and Highways, or DPWH, arrived with heavy machinery. They removed the Comfort Woman statue. The official reason? A drainage improvement project. But the timing was suspicious. The removal happened just as Japan, one of our biggest sources of official development assistance, or ODA, also stated in the 1956 reparation agreement, expressed regret over the monument. While the DPWH claimed it was about pipes, former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte later admitted in a public press conference that the statue was removed because it was an insult to the Japanese government. He stated that the Philippines should not be insulting a friend and an ally who provides massive aid and investment.
Going back, why would a revisionist like Ram Sayer would create this kind of myth? On November 3, 2018, before he published his paper in 2020, he was awarded the Order of the Rising Sun, gold lace with neck ribbon by the Japanese government. He probably promotes this myth largely to protect and maintain national pride, as well as present a better image about Japan's history and the practices of the Imperial Japanese Army. For some, it is easier to pave over the past with new roads than to look at the blood beneath the old ones.
They can remove the statue from the pedestal. They can wash the red paints from the walls of the Bahay na Pula. They can even rewrite the history books to make it look like a voluntary contract. But their crime will forever be not hidden, especially for the Filipina comfort woman. It lives in the memory of the Malaya Lolas and in the courage of Lila Filipina. Thank you for watching the